right. So what we've been doing the last couple of weeks is checking out ABC's mainstay franchise, The Bachelor, season 25. After 25 years, Suge decided to check it out. So we're watching it now. Episode 3 aired this week. Suge, you watched it?
Yeah,
What are your
man. I watched
thoughts?
it last night. It was like the first one that was it was like kind of eventful to say the least. So it started off with a group date where they all had to come out with like a I guess like Chris
Date.
Harrison. Chris Harrison, the
Yeah.
host, he's like a romance novel writer,
Yeah,
romance
he
novelist.
he he uses that whole thing where he's the guy who bangs your wife right after you get separated, and then she comes back to you, and he's the guy like he's that type of guy. Like he's a creepy guy. I don't know, he's a good guy, but he's kind of weird. I do you like Chris? I don't like this guy. I don't like his vibe.
I don't know
Anyway,
enough about him to have him like an opinion.
hey,
He
first
seems all right to
impressions,
me
man.
now. Yeah, he seems all right to me now. Apparently, Mike's not a fan of Chris Harrison.
No, I like him. I like him more than Chris Hansen. I like because Chris Hansen, I like him more than that. But we're getting off topic now. Let's jump back into it. Come on.
Yeah, so they started. So he's a romance novelist. So it starts off, and I think this was like a former Bachelor contestant or Bachelor winner. This lady, I forgot her name. It's unimportant, and she was like reading like an excerpt from his book. So the group date and the way these group dates are going is like they pick like 8 of the women and have them go on this group date with Matt, and the rest of the group, the rest of the contestants, like they stay in a hotel and they basically like talk shit while they're on this date. She told them that the goal or the what they had to do was to come up with their own romance excerpt based on them and Matt. So everybody came up with their little like thing. Of course, they had to like bleep some of the stuff out because it was like explicit. What do you think about that part, Mike?
No, I was saying it was a hen house, like when like the cock's out and all the women are like left by themselves. They're all bickering. That's what I meant by that. I meant yeah, it's a hotel. I meant like they keep all the other women there so they can bicker. Um, no, but yeah, we talked about a lot about fan fiction and like erotica. Um, I'm not a fan. I think it's weird. But remember we talked about shipping. It's kind of like that, where like you come up with things. I know that who is which character. Well, basically, I'll say like the girl Sarah, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of the one that was like, everyone was like focusing on. The way they edited it was that they were focusing on her.
Yeah,
Like they're saying the old women are jealous of her. That's the way it was presented.
yeah, because
When we were watching it.
she went on the little biplane with him. She had a date afterwards. I think she kind of spent like the most time so far with her. I think the second most time he spent is with Bree that we talked about last week.
Bree was like a deep. Bree was a deep conversation, but like the date was very, very like because it was like kind of the first date, so it was kind of like at an outdoor event. Usually, hey, let's go on a first date. We'll do a blind date, do like a rock climbing thing. Things you don't really get too serious, but shit, that went serious out of nowhere, and then they started talking about serious shit. So this one was more like then everyone's attention was towards her. Very different, which I guess that's the point of the show. Like he has different uh interactions with because everyone's different.
Oh, so now we
Uh,
also have to like begin with the first part because it does go with that since you brought up Sarah. So, like I said last week, the episode ended on like a cliffhanger during the rose ceremony,
mhm.
and Sarah had received her rose, and then she like fainted in the beginning of this episode, and a lot of the girls in the house were like mad at that. They were like, "Oh, all right, like you got your rose already, so it's kind of like nerve wracking for the rest of the girls who didn't get roses yet. That she kind of like took that attention away, and then on top of that, of course, Matt being like the guy, like any of us, if we was the bachelors and one of the contestants, whether you're close to them or not, like you'd run over and be like, "Are you okay?" Blah 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 blah. So the rest of the girls in the house, they took offense to that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's basically like getting double time, and double the amount of camera time too. It's a TV show. But yeah, what's your the next thoughts on your on the episode? Like after that.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a personal observation. When you talk about like the hen house, the girls that were, because it was like during the day, so it's kind of like, the girls didn't have to get like, if you weren't going on that group date, you didn't really have to get dressed and stuff like that. So they were kind of just like kicking it, and they were just wearing like their like sweats, and they were kind of like dressed down and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, like all the girls. I was like, all the really fine girls on there, they wear glasses, and I don't know if I said it on the show before. Like that's my thing. Like I like girls that wear glasses. I also like, girls that's like,
Mhm.
pretty plain and stuff like that. I got like that natural beauty. So like that part was really like
That
fun for me when they, would bounce back from the group date to in the place, back in the hotel where these girls are just kicking it, and they like, to me they were gorgeous just in their like, sweats and wearing glasses and stuff like that.
I think that's like fine. Like that's it though. That's like the a fashion now. It's like it looks like they're just like walking around with their nasty ass sweats that they've been wearing for weeks. Hey, they probably been wearing them for fucking a week straight, but that's not the look now. I think, but it takes a lot for them to look like that, even in that state. That's the whole look. Like they dress like a 45-year-old mom in like 95. Like that's the new look now. You
Mm,
know, feel good though.
yeah, and then so Sarah's whole thing, like she kept on getting pulling Matt to the side, and she's kind of like, well, first she says like, you know, she's not like used to seeing somebody like she's interested in and has a connection with, like them talking to other girls and spending time with other girls and other women and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, I'm like, you came on a show with 32 other women trying to get the same guy as you. Like, did you not think this was gonna happen? Did you not mentally prepare yourself for the
Experience.
90% possibility that the guy on the show, even if you're attracted to him, might be attracted to somebody else? Like at the end of the day, like you're a contestant. Like the show is about him and him trying to get to know everybody, even if he gets to know you and like you. And I think like Matt really, really liked her. But at the same time, like there's a lot of girls in the house, like a handful that he seemed to had like a genuine connection with.
Yeah. I'll give my point of view also from the TV presentation. I think maybe like if you get the answer wrong, to like pick her. Like the not the that psychological thing. We're like, all right, hey, if see these two guys and like one guy is looking at her, that whole thing. Um, a lot of these women seem jealousy is a main thing. That's from a TV point of view. So conflict is what they want. What about Serena?
Oh, Serena C. I
Or
don't
Serena
know.
P? Serena P.
Serena P.
Yeah,
She's the only person on that named Serena. That's why I was like, what the hell is saying Serena P? Oh, no, no, no.
I
Wait,
don't know.
wait. I'm bugging. Wait, wait. No, I'm lying. Nah, she is the only person named Serena. I'm thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, but for
Um,
some reason they call her that. But she got the one-on-one date.
no, I think it's a Serena C. She's like the Asian one, and then Serena P is the one from like Toronto.
Oh yeah, I noticed that there was
That's
one
where I
from
messed
Canada.
up. I had a little overlap. Forgive me.
I thought the
So
Toronto one was Asian.
nah, she was from like
Maybe
California,
not.
like San Diego or
Okay.
something. But Serena P that he went on the date with, she was cool. Like I liked her. I liked her vibe. She's on my. I think I like. had like like an overlap because I think it's Serena C and Serena P. So I like both, but I really got to know Serena P. She's from Toronto, kind of like a petite chick. She was the one that came with the stepladder in the first episode
Mm,
because I think Matt he's like 6'5", 6'4", and like she seemed like she was like 5, like 2.
yeah.
So I think they had like a really like nice little date with the like donkeys and stuff like that. That was interesting. So yeah, she's on my thing. I gotta make a little adjustment to my notes.
I'm curious to see like if they're gonna like out of nowhere just one day just cut like 3 or 4 chicks or women contestants at the same time because unless they just want to prolong this all the way until like man like April or something like that because
I mean, it's the third
there's a lot of
episode.
people. That's I know, but like usually it's like 16 to 18 and like that's an extra like 6 weeks. I'm just wondering how this is gonna affect, you
Well,
know.
they're support according to the next episode. They're adding like I think like 5 girls.
Well, yeah. What any updates on the villain of the season?
Oh,
Victoria, Queen Victoria.
so I was actually getting to
Anything to
that.
say about that?
I was actually gonna get to
Okay.
that. So Victoria, so it's in the main theme or the main story. I mean, it's a reality show, but these things are manufactured. But the focus of the episode was on Sarah leaving, and
Yeah.
Sarah's dad has ALS, formerly or is still now known as Lou Gehrig's disease because I think they found out like Lou Gehrig didn't exactly have ALS. He had something else, and that's why he died.
Hmm.
But ALS is like a muscle disease, and after a while, it does kill you. And she realized that she was there was very little time. I mean, not very little time, but you don't know how much time you have left with your dad. And she just felt like conflicted. She was like, I'm on a show and I'm getting like emotionally attached to Matt. At the same time, like my emotions are at home with my family because I don't know how much time I have left with my dad. And she just decided to leave. And if you watch any reality show, like I was watching a challenge, like I don't know if you know, Leo Rush from WWE. He was actually a contestant on the challenge on MTV, and he actually had to
I didn't
leave
know that.
because of his the mental part of it. And we on the show we talk about mental health a lot. So you clearly see like she was conflicted with staying there, and she actually in the group date Matt had gotten Katie. She's the one that showed up in the first episode with the vibrator, and I really liked her. She interrupted her, and like Victoria and the other girls were Sarah came in and interrupted their date, Matt and Katie's, and Katie left, and then the girls, obviously led by Victoria, Queen Victoria, they were
Hmm.
pushing her like, no, that's your time with Matt. You better go in there and get her. I mean, you better get her out of there. Blah 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 blah. So she goes in there and gets out, and then later on in the latter part of the episode, her and Sarah talk privately, and she tells Sarah like, you know what? Listen, I lost my dad in 2012, but so I understand what you're going through, and like you have my support. Like family comes first, this and the third. So I thought it was like cool that Katie had that one on one with her. But she ended up leaving and going home. But then when it was announced that like she was going home, like Victoria was like, "All right, bye." Like, and I like she was clapping, and I'm just like, I said like poor taste. Like she's leaving because like she misses her dad, or her dad, is he's got this disease that kills you, and she doesn't know how much time. And I just thought that was like an extremely like poor taste. So Victoria continues to be
Yeah.
the conflict.
Yeah. What I said on our previous update on the Bachelor was saying that is she doing a character, is she doing a shtick? Because I always come from that whole TV mindset. And then not to drag someone in the mud, but today, like they're releasing all her like previous mugshots and shit
Yeah,
like that.
same
Like
hot.
she's had a history of like crazy behavior. So
Same
may
hot.
you know what I'm saying? Like doing a bit, doing a bit, or are you just you think you're the hero? If you think you're the hero in this situation, but then at the same time, maybe they know they're doing a shtick, so now we talk about her. But I think some people are just a little nutty, you know.
Yeah,
So I don't
man.
know.
Boy,
It's she's definitely not the she's the the not the she's the antagonist, you know, and producers are actually saying that this is uh actually like not even because of like there's like less things on TV right now because things are back in production,
yeah.
but like ratings are up. Like there were
Oh,
people
I
were
had heard that
nervous,
they.
not nervous, but they were saying
I had
like
heard that it was low, the ratings for the season.
it was a low. They assumed that it was going to be higher because there's less things on TV.
Oh,
But there is more things on TV on streaming and stuff, so you can't really like judge it on that. And it's like it's such an archaic form of because how'd you watch it? How'd you watch it? You watched it? No, you didn't watch it on Monday, right? No, you watched it
nah, I watched it last
different.
night.
There's different avenues.
Yeah, I never. I don't really watch stuff.
Exactly.
I don't watch
That's my
stuff
point.
live anymore. But
Exactly. But I watch it on YouTube. I watch the clips on YouTube. So that's how do you tell if I watched it? My view didn't count. So that's a whole different
yeah,
story about
I
like
don't know.
when you
Yeah, I
watch it.
never know how like the Nielsen ratings and stuff like that. How it works with streaming and people recording on DVR and stuff like that. But the last thing, or one of the last things I wanted to talk about,
Mm.
or that I had in my notes, I was like, Mike, like I hate people crying. Like unless somebody died, I don't think unless somebody died or you're in like extreme pain, like why are you crying? Like, but it was a lot of women crying, and I always like that's one quality in women I hate. I don't like not in women in general. Not in women in
That's
general.
ironic
And
because
I
if
don't like
someone,
women. I don't like women that cry a lot. Like I'm not saying that women cry a lot, but I don't like women who cry a lot.
all right, um, I think if I'm actually really really sad, I don't, I wouldn't cry. I don't, I would just be like, I can cry. You know what? No, I be as a man, I'll tell you that I only cry if it's like I'm thinking about something as a kid, nostalgia stuff. If I'm watching a movie and I'm like, I remember myself as a kid, I'd be like, I start crying. But if something crazy happened, I'd be like, fight or flight, fight
Yeah.
or flight. If I think something, I get more like adrenaline gets pumping, and I'm like, let's go or let's do something. Like I don't retreat. Like I'm more like, crying is more like when you're by the
Yeah.
retreating thing.
And it's like one
But
of
that's
the things
different. That's different.
one of the things I got on Matt is like, oh man, like he's always like trying to like make trying to make them feel better. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, if you was on a show with all of these women and like they started like showing emotion and stuff, they started crying or look sad or depressed and stuff like that, like you like as much as I don't like women crying, like I'll be like, oh, like it's gonna be better, blah 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 blah. Like
I would be doing weird shit, man. If I was on Bachelor, I'd be like, all right, guys. I would do like fake mugshots of of myself, like how I said how Queen Victoria had mugshots, like leave them out in like in different areas of the house, and
yeah.
if they notice, like he was arrested for what, and see if they stick around. I'd be doing weird like psychological shit, and,
uh
like I'm tormenting them, like um, just weird shit like that. No, I
no,
wouldn't
but
do it.
I was like I would like they should have me on it. Like I said, every episode is gonna be me like subliminally trying to like put myself off for the Bachelor. But I was like that first when I'm watching it, I was like that first like group date. I was like, my first date, I would walk in, I'd be like, all right, we're shooting a porn. But then I'll be like, nah, I'm just playing, like just to get like a laugh out of them. I'll be like, nah, 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 like this is a bed, like you know, I'm planning to wake up with you for the rest of my life. So tell me how you like wake me up in the morning, and then that would be like the first group date. But who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe,
Oh,
it
hey,
won't.
you're gonna guess, that's a good, that's actually pretty good. Hey, psychological, man. That's some deep shit, man. That's some deep shit. Um,
But hey, man,
but then
like
you could always be like, then when you're like making like, hey guys, we're gonna have a pottery contest, whatever. And then when you like you're holding the pottery and you go through a small like foyer and you're like, I wasn't kidding. I'm gonna fucking shoot in the closet, okay? Like, you can always say, no, I'm kidding again. I'm kidding again. Kidding. I'm kidding. And then you always be like, if they're into it, then what's that from again? Oh yeah, if you ever seen the movie "Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead,"
yeah,
one of the greatest lines
favorite.
ever.
I love that. I love that
Yeah,
movie.
so
In Applegate.
he goes,
Yeah.
yeah. So oh yeah, we were talking about this. I forgot. Yeah, so he's like, oh, hey, like he's the guy's picking up Christian Applegate's character's boss, who they've been on and off with for years. They're both professionals, they're older, and then he hits on Christian Applegate, and he's like, hey, he's like, let's go out there, like, if not, he goes like, hey, let's do this, I mean, he hits on her and stuff during lunch, and he basically says, I date other women, and if not, I'm kidding. You should try the whatever, very tender. What's the exact quote? Oh man, I should know this by heart. Try the steak, very tender.
I
And
gotta
he's like,
watch
if
that
not,
shit.
I was kidding. I used that before, but it's like basically saying, hey, let's have sex together. Then he goes, or if not, I was kidding. He basically says that, you know.
Yeah.
Try the whatever. Very tender.
Yeah, but my last thing is like if I was Matt, I'm not saying me and Matt have the same taste in women or we look at the same we look for the same qualities in women, but like my number one in the first episode, I think she kind of went down in the second episode, but in the third episode she went back to the top of my rankings. Like Katie, if I was on that show, I'd have picked her. Like, show would have been done. Like, I like her. Like, she's awesome. Like, she showed up the first one with like the vibrators. Like, I've been in quarantine for 14 days, and I had to use this to like preoccupy my time. Blah 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 blah. And I would have been like, yo, that's bold and it's funny as hell. That shows me that you got personality, and I don't, not many women are funny to begin with, and she's rare in that regard. And then in the third episode, like talking to Sarah and being like, listen, like my dad died. If you need to spend time with your father, like you should go home. But if you stay here, you have my support. Like that spoke volumes about her to me. I don't know if that's what was gonna pick, but like so far, 3 episodes in, that's what I like.
Well, the whole thing with Katie, I get it. Girls are funny, but I'm already thinking about myself in the future. Let's say this actually like, if I'm with her and we have like a little scuff, and I'm like making something like I'm in like the kitchen, and I'd be like, how many fucking dildos you on, huh? And I'd be looking all weird with her, like, huh? Because like in my mind, men are insecure. A lot of people are sexually insecure. Sometimes I'd be like, huh? Bring a dildo to my fucking, I'd bring that up, and I'd bring that up because that's I'm different than you. You're like, more open to that. You think it's a funny thing, but I'd be like, oh, you brought that to me, trying to embarrass me, that whole thing. No, I'm being like, I'm kind of on square. But you know what I'm saying though, like
All right, all right, I
I'm
turn.
gonna marry a girl. I'm gonna marry a girl who brings a fucking dildo to my fucking, that whole thing. I told you, MJ. That's just from looks,
All
though,
right,
pretty
Phil. All
much.
right, Phil Spector.
Phil Spector, not rest in peace, rest in fucking hell. Um, yeah, but I like MJ just from looks and stuff. You can't really tell, like,
Oh
it's
yeah, and
really
like
early on.
MJ had like a lot more. She had a lot more talk time or screen time than the first 2 episodes in
And
this
it's
one.
funny though, like, yeah. Oh, wait, I mean, like, they're gonna get more and more. They might have like specials too. Um, Another thing that happened, as we record, there's a lot of like talks of already Bachelorette, the next season,
Hmm.
and that they already filmed this. This is already done pretty much. They already filmed The Bachelor pretty much, and they're already saying that there's like they usually like to pick someone who didn't win, which is kind of a spoiler. But the dildo lady is like actually like in like the works. So like they're saying that she's like has personality, but who know? I don't know. I don't know if it's actually official yet. But since like that's a bold choice. It's the personality thing. Usually you pick someone who everyone wants them to win, but they don't. And sometimes like a season will end mid-season and they'll bring someone else on. So they're saying that since it's such a long season, and I didn't know this. Like you're saying they're gonna add more people. I didn't see that part of the episode, but that might mean that some more people drop out. Um, he might actually just like leave, and then they bring someone else in. It's like one of those series that, because I'm a big Big Brother fan, and that happens all the time. So this is going to go on for the rest until 1 year anniversary probably.